Let's talk Tobago, or people, or places, or challenges and achievements, or needs and aspirations. Join us as we continue our journey into the future.
Hello and thank you for joining us on Let's Talk Tobago. This week we're coming to you from another prime Tobago attraction, the popular Pigeon Point Heritage Park. In our stories this week, Caribbean Airlines criticized for not servicing TNT's air bridge adequately. The new Minister of Tourism says there will be more collaboration between THA and the TDC. New Minister of Tobago Development meets with Chief Secretary over London. And the Tobago Heritage Festival celebrates its Silver Jubilee in fine style. Stay tuned for our special segments where you get to have your say with Lois Vincent. You can now send us your comments to information@tha.gov.tt or visit us at www.tha.gov.tt. Please see the bottom of your screen for more contact details. Stay with us. We'll have these and more stories after the break.
Where we going tomorrow? We going Tobago. It's yours, mine, and ours. We going Tobago. It's the 25th anniversary of the Tobago Heritage Festival and everybody's invited. The celebration's bigger than ever this year with more villages, more shows, plus cultural favorites like the goat and crab races, an old-time Tobago wedding, oh gosh, and the food, July 13th to August 1st. Mark it down, July 13th to August 1st. 25th Annual Tobago Heritage Festival. Yours, mine, and ours to preserve and protect. Why-yo-yo!
A gala event as a cast of over 400 performers crossed the stage at the Dwight York Stadium in celebration of the 25th anniversary of the Tobago Heritage Festival. The opening night celebration, which was under the creative direction of Massman Brian McFarlane, included fog machines, pyrotechnics and fireworks. Sophie Guillaume was there and filed this report.
It's the 25th anniversary of the Tobago Heritage Festival, and looking at the Dwight York Stadium in the daytime, one wouldn't imagine that this could turn into this.
Action, William! Water is life, it's peace, and it drives all fears away.
I invite all of you to join us on a month-long trek throughout the communities of Tobago. I invite you to join us on a 500-year journey through a fascinating cultural form.
Tonight, the people of Tobago have responded once again to that clarion call, the call to not only protect and to preserve our heritage, but to rally in celebration of the 25 years of the Tobago Heritage Festival and 50 years as an independent nation.
With all the major events and concerts held here in the past, this is by far the grandest of them all.
Coming to Tobago and doing this event was just overwhelming. There are mixed emotions about it because it's a very humbling experience, meeting with all the villagers, getting involved in the culture.
Well, Mr. McFarlane was brought in to really help in the wow factor, and I think he certainly brought the wow factor to the show.
Actually working with them and getting into the whole logistics of it all was overwhelming, so that was a humbling experience.
enslaved on this. You know, there was a few people really who worked night and day tirelessly from 8 in the morning to 1 a.m., 2 a.m. every day for the past 6 to 8 weeks.
We put real work in it. Fellas, you see the fellas enjoying themselves now. We tear it up. Yes, we enjoy ourselves tonight.
Tonight was very super and it was extravagant. It's a global something.
I was quite surprised. I didn't expect such a fantastic performance, and they only had a couple of months to put it together. It was magnificent.
The best show in years that we ever get for our opening. Well, I know it's the 25th year, so we expect that it will come good.
It was very good, very, very good. Fantastic. The drummers and the last set of dancers was very exciting. Everything was good.
I thought it was good. I actually liked the fireworks at the end. It was really fun.
This is my second time. I found it very spectacular. The lights were very. There's a lot of explosions and fire. I liked it a lot.
What a fitting way to end such a gala opening ceremony with fireworks.
Not enough seats, says Chief Secretary Orville London. But he wasn't talking about elections. Instead, the Chief Secretary was criticizing Caribbean Airlines for not adequately servicing the Trinidad and Tobago Air Bridge. Speaking at the press conference of the most recent Tourism Standing Committee meeting held at Blue Haven Hotel, Mr. London expressed his dissatisfaction with CAL.
It was very disconcerting when we were given the information that Caribbean Airlines' capacity in 2012 is about 20,000 seats less than it was in 2011. And in 2011, that capacity was, of course, inadequate.
Mr. London said that CAL should seek to maintain a 60 to 70% capacity in order to build confidence with passengers. The Chief Secretary was not the only one complaining about service provided by CAL. President of the Hotel and Tourism Association, Nick Hardwick, also expressed his dissatisfaction with the airline.
We can only say that we share his disappointment in this. I would go a little further as to say that the evidence and the suspicion that this problem was in train has been around for some time, and what is particularly disturbing to me is that we're still getting only excuses from the airline, not the solutions. And I think that as we move forward, we need to have an action plan from them so that we can make sure that these type of outages of capacity do not affect us in the future.
Mr. Hardwick said he is excited to work with the new Minister of Tourism, but aired his concern about the lack of information on the loan guarantee program promised by the government.
We took, obviously, today the opportunity to discuss or to emphasize our concern about the still lack of information with respect to the mechanisms and implementation plan for the recently announced government loan guarantee schemes to attract new business, new construction of hotels on the island, and also to attend to the debt restructuring and refurbishment requirements of the existing plant on the island.
Also speaking at the press conference was Secretary of Tourism and Transportation Oswald Williams. Mr. Williams raised the issue of the existing terminal building at the A&R Robinson International Airport, saying that it is inadequate for Tobago's tourist needs.
We have a terminal building that's, apart from the fact that it is old and it has challenges with respect to the roof and so on, it is woefully inadequate in terms of even the current traffic that we have to deal with now.
Meanwhile, Minister of Tourism Stephen Cadiz attended his first Tourism Standing Committee meeting in Tobago. The minister said he is committed to making tourism viable for both Tobago and Trinidad.
We are putting a lot of effort into tourism. We're going to make sure tourism is a very viable industry. and not only, of course, for Tobago, but for Trinidad and Tobago.
With respect to marketing of the destination, Mr. KD said he wants to see more collaboration between the THA and the TDC.
There's been a disconnect between what the THA is doing as far as marketing, what the TDC is doing, Tourism Development Company, what they're doing as far as marketing, and we have to bring that together. It's no sense both of us spending the same dollar, trying to attract the same client, the same customer, and we're doing it completely separate and apart.
211 is no longer the number Tobagonians call for general information. It is now becoming an emergency alert system. 12 211 agents are currently undergoing emergency telecommunications service training at the Information Technology Center in Signal Hill. Sophie Guillaume gives details on the program.
211 good morning. This is Patricia. How may I assist you?
Conducted by the US-based company Priority Dispatch, the course is a 40-hour internationally certified one.
This course actually, what it does is gives a foundation for those in the call center to have an understanding of the public safety aspect when it deals with fire, police, and also medical. So though 211 may take calls in general questions, sometimes these emergency calls will slip through. And so this course gives the telecommuter foundation as to how to deal with those type of individuals, the aspects behind just taking a regular call, which may be an emergency situation.
The training certifies the 211 operators to become emergency telecommunicators for the emergency alert system, which is scheduled to come on stream in August.
We wanted to ensure that the agents were aptly trained, right? They received the necessary knowledge and skills that would enable them to assist the clients that would be using that new system in terms of the emergency alert, as well as the clients that use the system for 24 hours emergency contact or facilitation with the 3 emergency providers, namely police, fire, and EMS. So this is enhancing skills, right? It is for them, additional knowledge to ensure that they have the capacity and the capabilities to perform what it is they're going to be asked to do in those situations that are not planned.
These emergencies being fire, medical, and police situations. The difference between 211 and calling the emergency service directly is that 211 can be called free from any network and the number is easier to remember.
Right, so it's one centralized number regardless of what part of Tobago you're calling from. You have an emergency. You dial that number, it's accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year. And based on the nature of your emergency, we can then direct you to the respective emergency service provider or the respective police station that can deal with your specific emergency.
Priority Dispatch, which is present in 38 countries, has been training other emergency medical response services in Trinidad and Tobago since 2001.
And what this does is provide a standard, so that if you call for a medical emergency, you're going to get the same care that you would get if you were in the United States. You're going to get the same type of instructions. So if you need help on delivering a child or if someone's not breathing, they're going to tell you specifically what you should do or should not do. Correct. They have guidelines and instructions. So they don't do it from the top, and they're certified to give those instructions. They've been trained. It's a 3-day training for them. This class says why it's important to have protocols, why it's important to have a standard, and what to expect. So this helps those telecommunicators to get that foundation so that they can go to the next level. And if they want to do the medical or fire or police, we have systems in all 3 that you can become certified in and have that standard of care no matter where you go.
So, come August, whenever there's an emergency, the number to call is 211.
You can rely on the fact that the service that you receive in coming through the 211 center will be consistent in terms of the particular standard. And that is where this specific training will ensure that there's consistency of service, there's a quality element to it, right? And there's a standardized way that each call is going to be dealt with.
Sophie Guillaume, Department of Information.
Derelict buildings, homeless families, abandoned children. Images from a community devastated by an earthquake. Recovering from the effects of a natural disaster is oftentimes challenging. However, Haitian children see a ray of hope as a TNT-based organization is committed to rebuilding one of Haiti's orphanages. Representing the organization, Dr. Paula Henry and Patrick Reed journeyed to Tobago to collect over $100,000 from Chief Secretary Ophir London at his Calder Hall office. The funds were amassed from Tobagonians and the THA. Founded in 2010, AT&T got started approximately 6 months after Haiti's most recent devastating earthquake.
We thought it important to rebuild a facility for homeless children because it was completely demolished and the most vulnerable in Haiti had nowhere to stay except in tents where they were predisposed to the elements, to people who would take advantage of them, and we wanted to do a more secure facility for them where they would go to school and learn new skills.
According to Dr. Henry, the La Madeleine orphanage is geared towards the holistic development of 300 students.
My prime reason for being there was to set up a medical clinic, to reestablish a medical clinic. And after I had done that and had all the medicines put together and tabulated, I felt this is a temporary short-term measure. I wanted something more for the people of Haiti. I wanted a more permanent solution. And so the idea of taking on the project to rebuild the facility for homeless children became very dear to my heart.
Another representative of AT&T, Patrick Reed, said the project is about promoting sustainable development.
Okay, we're going to plant a seed, and the seed that we are planting is the rebuilding of this home for the dispossessed.
Dr. Henry added that AT&T welcomes anyone willing to contribute in time, capital, or administrative skills. AT&T can be reached at www.atntfoundation.org. We take a break.
Where we going tomorrow? We going to Tobago. It's yours, mine, and ours. We going to Tobago. It's the 25th anniversary of the Tobago Heritage Festival, and everybody's invited. The celebration's bigger than ever this year, with more villages, more shows, plus cultural favorites like the goat and crab races, an old-time Tobago wedding, oh gosh, and the food, July 13th to August 1st. Mark it down, July 13th to August 1st. 25th Annual Tobago Heritage Festival. Yours, mine, and ours to preserve and protect. Why-yo-yo!
Calling all explorers, inventors, and those interested in robotics. The Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sports presents its Tobago Creativity and Innovation Camps. July 30th to August 3rd, 2012. Come challenge yourself to think critically, generate ideas, design, build, and much more. Learn teamwork and develop socializing skills. Topics include science and engineering, concepts of power, sound and music, building loudspeakers, rocket testing, building robotic system. It's the Tobago Creativity and Innovation Camps.
It's now time for our special segment, Have Your Say with Lois Vincent.
So, what's your favorite place in Tobago and why?
My favorite place is in Palliative, I should say. Why? Because it's quiet, personal. You know, the scenery, everything is just nice, and maybe the temperature, the atmosphere on it, just as like a home away from home.
I will say Plymouth because I born and grew in Plymouth. Plymouth is a very flat place, no hills. The beach is right there and a lot of fish.
Mount St. George, why? I don't know, I grew up there. Storby, because that is, you know, cause when you come to Storby, you have everything, you know, food, entertainment, you have a lot of characters. You understand me? You could go on a reef boat, you could get a jet ski, you could go on an island tour, you could go on a beach barbecue, you could reef boat with music, everything in Storby, always live. Storby always live.
I've been surprised to see how Tobago has developed and so on. And so far, so good. We're now going to go to the glass bottom boat to go to the Boca Reef and so on. And well, as you see, we decide to go and bathe over there and thing and so on. And We are a family, 3 gentlemen with their families come for this is the first time I meet my family here. And I like the water. The water looks so beautiful and nice. Can't wait to go into the water.
Tobago is a beautiful place, but the most favorite is in Stobie. Well, this is beautiful, and people is nice, and you got the balls and the works of refreshments and all that.
We just reached here Monday and we went to the waterfall. What's the name? What's the name of the waterfall? Argyle. Yes, that was really nice. We got a tour guide and everything was nice so far since we've been here.
Well, the world famous nylon pool. It's always fascinating when you go there. It's always always look refreshed. Always looks like a new experience. Love the reef. Okay, amazed by the information you receive from the tour guides. You never know the reef had so much of history and have so much of significance. So it's exciting for me.
Chief Secretary of London is hopeful about the THA's relationship with the new Minister for Tobago Development, but he doesn't expect agreement on all issues. Dr. Dalman Baker, who replaced Vanilla Allen Toppin in the recent cabinet reshuffle, visited his former teacher at his Calder Hall office. Minister Baker discussed with the Chief Secretary issues ranging from a second carnival for Tobago to the appointment of a public assistance board. Sophie Guillaume has more.
Walking through the mahogany doors of the Chief Secretary's office, Minister Baker greeted the Chief Secretary. In their informal and unofficial meeting, the two discussed several items, among them the once hot topic of a second carnival for Tobago.
I was very heartened to note that the minister was not particularly enthused about the idea of a second carnival in Tobago, and I will expect that this particular project is now off the drawing board. I'm hoping so, and I'm hoping that he will pass on his sentiments and the sentiments of the majority of the people of Tobago to his colleagues.
Other issues included finding a resolve for the Public Assistance Board and the review of the THA Act.
I raised also with him the question of the $100 million, which is still owed to the TRHA for the commissioning of the Scarborough Hospital, bearing in mind, of course, that with the non-receipt of this funding, the opening of certain units in the hospital is obviously being jeopardized. And as someone coming out of the Ministry of Finance, he would be aware of that. And it is something that I'm hoping that he would, of course, take up with his cabinet colleagues. The police stations at Roxborough and Delaford, I also would have discussed that with him and requested that he should again take this up with the newly appointed Minister of National Security.
The Chief Secretary felt that the relationship between the two looks hopeful.
The Minister did indicate that he would formalize, certain aspects of the discussion with correspondence to the Tobago House of Assembly and would be willing to engage in regular discussions with the Tobago House of Assembly, both at the policy and also at the operational levels with their respective teams, so that we could try to treat with some of the issues which have bugged us over the years.
Sophie Guillaume, Department of Information.
What do Amerindian utensils, an African death mask, and 18th century guns have in common? They can all be found at the Fort King George Museum, where curator Edward Hernandez researches and preserves Tobago's history. Omadara Mills has this report.
I was one of the founders of the Heritage Festival, and I designed the logo. You see, so I'm part of the Heritage Festival.
Curator Edward Hernandez has worked hard to ensure that the Fort King George Museum continues to contribute to the Heritage Festival, whose logo he also designed. The museum's stores for Tobago's 25th Heritage Festival was not a new activity, but Mr. Hernandez revealed a reintroduction.
From the beginning, the museum was always included in the program. And so we were part of the Heritage Festival. And then suddenly it was changed. This is the first time in the last probably 8 years or 10 years that the museum has been reintroduced in the program of the Heritage Festival.
Patrons got a peek into Tobago's heritage through artifacts such as African wood carvings, bills with Queen Elizabeth's face, sewing machines, and even a first edition commemorative plate of Dr. Eric Williams. Curator Hernandez, who thinks that it is important for Tobagonians to preserve their heritage, said that more youths should be brought to the museum to learn about their history.
To encourage more school groups to come in, whether it's preschool, we have preschoolers that come in, and elementary schools, and secondary schools, and tertiary schools.
Sharing similar sentiments was chairman of the Tobago Heritage Festival Committee, Wendell Berkeley, at the opening of the second annual Tobago Heritage Festival's art exhibition held at Gulf City Mall, Lowlands.
We want to attract the young passers-by, the school children who are on vacation, and everybody else who are in and out of the mall to come in and see the work and be encouraged to either be part of producing the work or, of course, purchasing some of the work of art.
With the theme, Yours, Mine and Ours, to preserve and protect, for the 25th Tobago Heritage Festival, the art exhibition showcased artworks depicting dancing of the cocoa, pan players, seine pulling, and Tobago's flora and fauna. I am Umudara Mills for the Department of Information.
Thank you for staying with us. As we go, we leave you with some performances from the opening night of the Tobago Heritage Festival. See you next week.
Glory.